What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Riding the Wave podcast with your host, MJ. And we got my sister back in the house, Mo to the motherfucking Mo. What up, Mo?
What up, guys?
How's your current?
My current's actually pretty good. I'm just a little tired, but other than that, it's going.
It's going smooth, nice,
Yes.
nice and groovy. And we just want to do a shout out to our boy Aid. It's weird not having him here, especially during the introduction. So I'm still kind of getting used to just saying myself. But what's up, Aid? Are you dedicated, baby? What's up? We can't wait to have you back on the podcast,
He's
brother.
Here. He's right
yeah,
here.
You're
here.
right here, baby.
Yeah.
You're right here.
Right, you're right in the center where you need to be.
As you should be, baby. Cheers.
Cheers.
Clink, clink. All right, and my current pretty
Oh yeah, I forgot I'm supposed to ask.
yeah, you're supposed to ask. You're supposed to ask. See, this is why we need Aid over here.
How's your current?
Well, finally, now that you ask, it's going smooth. It's going smooth. Son's going back to school. I'm excited for that. He's been away for 2 weeks, so that was a little rough for me. 1 week is bad enough, but 2 weeks not being with them, that's a drag. Work has been a little hectic, to be honest. Just a lot of negativity there. So sometimes that shit does, it's hard not to bring it home with you.
Yeah.
Especially with myself, like I'm a very passionate person. I wear my heart on my sleeve. That saying, like not allowing people to live in your head rent free. That's a challenging one, because when people want to see you fail or have bad intentions for you, you're just always wondering like why.
Yeah.
Like why can't we all just get along? But misery loves company. But all right, so let's get to it. Today's topic
It's going to be a
doozy, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're gonna talk about identifying red flags. Red flags. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
He wore green because he thinks he's a walking green flag. Okay?
I'm go, baby. I'm go. But yeah, so today we're gonna talk about identifying red flags. We all have them. We all have experienced or dated people with many red flags. So let's get on that topic, Mo. So what's a red flag for you? Like just in general, what do you feel like, in your opinion, is a definition of a red flag?
For me, one thing that really stands out is not being a person of your word. So like if you say that you donate every week, and mind you, I feel like words are very important. When you say every week, and then I've been seeing you for a month, and 4 weeks you have not gone and donated, you do not do this every week. So don't say every week when it's not literally every week. I'm more of a literal person. When you say every, I'm like, okay, this is like quite often. But if it's like once in a blue moon, like every 3-4 months, I don't feel like you should be saying you do this all the time. Like in Spanish, you would say a veces en cuando, here and there, you donate. And it's like, okay, not a big deal. You're not going to win brownie points by saying I do it every week. Like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
he's such a great person. So, yeah.
So that's your definition of a red flag?
Right off the bat, yes.
If I had to give a simple definition of a red flag, I would say meant like you lack mental stability. Like you're mentally you're just everywhere. And for me, that's my definition. Again, we all have red flags. And we're gonna dive into not only red flags in relationship, but we're talking about in general, rather be at work, friendship, family. We're gonna just generalize it.
It's a broad
yeah,
spectrum.
it's a broad. There you go. It's a broad spectrum. So okay, so let's start off first as far as what are red flags for you in a potential relationship?
Relationship wise would be time and effort. If you're, we've talked about in the past being intentional. So if you're being intentional, you're pursuing, use air quotes, you're pursuing, you're trying to date. That means that you're making an effort to want to go out and date this person. Now, if it's always like, oh, I don't have time, or I can't today, or something came up and you have every excuse in the book, that's a red flag. You shouldn't be pursuing dating, or maybe you shouldn't be pursuing dating me, or maybe you don't like me and you're not vibing with me, which is why you're making all these excuses as to why you can't go out on a date with me. But at the end of the day, just be straight up. So
yeah, I could agree with the whole red flag and not having time. I have noticed that, in the past, and even with myself, I think a lot of us need to be honest and realistic as far as the time that you have. And like, let's just say if you're a person where you have all these kids, or you have all these responsibilities, multiple jobs, and you just don't have time, then you need to be honest with yourself and not string someone along who wants your time, who wants to be with you, but you keep on just like, I don't have time. Well, then right off the bat, that's a red flag. You don't have time.
Or you have to find somebody that matches that's also like equally yoked to, like, they're busy, you're busy, and you guys both understand that you're busy, and then you guys know, like, look, I like you, you like me, we're definitely going to make time for each other, and then you find that time when you have that time. Now, if you're dating somebody that has nothing but time on their hands, guess what? They're always going to be available.
Yeah. And maybe that may be a red flag
in itself
for the other person. Yeah. Like, man, you just have too much time on your hands. So that's what I'm saying. Red flags. It's a bit.
It's a variable.
Yeah, it's a variable. It could be murky because again, this is just our opinions on what red flags mean to us. Like for me, a red flag when dating someone, their attitude, how they view things, how they view life. Just their energy, if they're very happy, not all negative. Like the attitude.
But that I actually heard that some people don't like that. Like, they don't like that somebody's always very positive and uppity. Because, like, let's just say, right, you're venting to this person and they're always like, rainbows, butterflies, unicorns. And you're like, bitch, like, right now it's not a fucking rainbow. Like, I'm just venting to you. I want you to hear me out. Like, I don't want you to say any of that. So
then you better choose another person to talk to then. If that's not what you're looking for.
That's why I'm saying, like, there's some people who say, like, and that this is where we have to be so intentional with what it is that we truly want. Because we could sit here and be like, I want this, I want that. Like, we want a pair of shoes. We go, we buy them, we stand at the store, and then where are they at? In the shelf.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same thing when it comes to, like,
because it's not a necessity. It's not a necessity.
Exactly.
It's a need.
But when you're so intentional with what you're looking for, you're making that time, you're making that effort, you're really trying to, like, be in tune with this person, that any red flag right off the bat, you're like, right, I'm out.
What's another red flag for you? So we got time, we got attitude. What's another one?
How you show up for yourself, and how you show up for the people around you.
Okay.
For me, if you can't show up for you, you definitely ain't gonna show up for me.
And what do you mean by that? Like, show
up can mean you're having a bad day, you're having a bad day, and you know that maybe you shouldn't be out and about because you have this poor attitude. So you just need to stay at home and kind of like decompress and do whatever. If you do yoga, if you go to the gym, if you like to go for a run or drive in the car, do whatever you know that needs to be done for you so that you can come back into your circle and be 100% yourself. And then how you show up for others. Like, if your best friend of 10 years calls you in the middle of the night It's like, hey, dog, like I'm going through this right now. You're like, you know what, bro? I'm tired. I got to work at 5 and it's like 2, 3 in the morning. You're like, can we talk about this tomorrow? I get it, setting that boundary. But then again, this is a friend that's calling you in need of something. So if you can't show up
if you're calling me at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, it's because you fucked up.
Not all that.
I'm just saying. Okay. All right. So I could see that being a red flag. I would say red flag. Another one for me would be definitely like your insecurity. Like insecurity for me, that's a big one. I know we all go through our own trauma in our lives. A lot of us been cheated on or taken advantage of, rather by friends, family, whoever. But that's a big one. Is just having trust issues, just not being able to be secure with yourself, and then bringing that to that, because it's overwhelming when you're on the other end. Like I had a buddy recently tell me that, you know, he's been married, had kids with his wife, but his wife she needed that validation. So that they could be on the couch just watching TV, but she would want to hold his hand, like hold my hand, right? And he's like, it's not that he doesn't want to hold her hand, but he's like, but why is holding, like me holding your hand so important to you?
But I don't know if you asked, but it's like if he does watch, like, did he ever ask that question?
Well, he was just pretty much just insinuating that he just feels like she just needs that constant validation, that consistent validation.
But you're married, you got 2 kids. You cannot sit here and tell me that just popped up out of nowhere. Sorry, I'm going to go way off topic right now. But I don't think that certain things are sprung. And if they are, if this is your wife and you have 2 kids with her, we better start figuring this out together, because this is my wife. Like, if this is my wife, let's figure out the whys.
Well, again, I was just listening. I really wasn't asking all these questions. He was just talking to me, and I was just observing what he was saying. But this the way he explained it. I mean, if he was here, he could probably explain it better in detail.
So just so that the audience knows, there's a difference between somebody coming into a relationship with a red flag versus you being in a relationship with somebody and then all of a sudden they're having insecurities. Again, somebody who has had kids, your body starts to change as a woman. Your hormones are completely off. Men don't really understand that, but again, for a husband and wife, if you really want to be solid with your partner, these are things that you should ask. I would encourage to ask.
Well, maybe you should be their therapist.
Okay.
I don't know.
Sure, send them my way.
Anyway, so we did get a little bit off topic. But yeah, so insecurity and lack of communication. When you have to scream at me to get your point across.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
That doesn't work.
I check out.
Yeah, not that I check. Yeah, I guess I could say I check out. I just ignore you at that point. But yeah, just someone who just doesn't know how to communicate. Everybody communication is different. The way I communicate with you, the way you communicate, it's different. So when you're, and that goes through work, work environment, friendships, like communicate, like that communication is key in all aspects. Mm-hmm. So for me, I would say that definitely communication is a big one.
I mean, we all know communication is a big thing all the way around in any relationship. You want something at the market. Guess what? You don't know where it's at. You're going to ask. You're going to communicate. You're going to use your words. Using your words is so important. It's unfortunate that doesn't matter how old we are, we don't know how to do it properly.
Yeah. I mean,
we make it so hard.
Yeah, it's our internal selves. We're battling with ourselves. So what's another one? What's another red flag?
For me, another red flag would be your financial. So if I'm hearing you say I bring home X amount, but I also see you spending X amount, like your bank account is overflowing. To me, that's a red flag because I don't know if I would be able to trust you with our finances if we were to be in a long-term relationship, because you're living too much in the moment.
Yeah. Okay. I agree with that. Especially with women too. Like if a woman's just a red flag when she's a constant spender and she's relying on you consistently to support her, then yeah, to me that's a red flag. I'm out. I'm not no charity case or anything like that. So I agree with you on that. I think I'm gonna go back, and this is gonna be more for like the ladies. I'm gonna spit you guys on some game over here. You guys could either listen or ignore it. Do what you will with this info, but a red flag for a woman, especially if you're dating a man that or a guy that has kids and his kids are not present in his life, that should be a red flag for you. If that individual, and I don't want to hear these fucking excuses. I don't want to hear, well, she's crazy. She doesn't let me see them, and
you don't know our past.
Yeah, you don't know our past, little puppet. Like, I don't want to hear that shit. Cause if that dude isn't willing to fight for his kids, what the fuck makes you think he's gonna fight for you? Or what happens if he gets you pregnant?
I think this is the best advice you've given this whole podcast.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm getting better. But yeah. So like, I would just let the ladies know, and I get it. Sometimes you hear these excuses and you kind of feel bad for the guy. You're like, oh man, like that must be really tough. But nah, because I'm a prime example. That you do fight for your kids. There's ways to go about it. I know some people don't like to go to court or things like that, but when it comes to your kid, you're willing to go up and beyond. If the court is the last way to be with your kids, and that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
So I would just say for the ladies, definitely that should be a number one concern for you going into a relationship, a man that's dating kids.
And then I'm going to have to speak on it from the woman's side or the guy's side. Like, it's both parties. If I am dating a guy, that should be set in place. If my brother is dating a female and she has a kid, but mom is raising them or is with dad and she's always out and about, like, that is a red flag. Yes, people think about it like, oh, well, we get all this free quality time together. We don't have that extra baggage. We don't have that extra burden. We don't have that extra this. That's not the way to see things. Like, this is his or her child. You need to own up to it, and you need to take care of your responsibility. And I guess that can tie into finances responsibility. Like, okay, well, if you're not present, are you financially contributing to this child?
Yeah, because one of my buddies actually was telling me about that, where he was his girlfriend's sister is dating this guy, and there was like some drama and stuff that happened in the past. But anyway, so she dating this guy, and I guess they seen her walking with her new boyfriend or whatever, and they're holding hands, right, while the kids are walking in the back of them. Like, they pretty much disregarded. She did, like, completely just disregarded, because she's so caught up with just with her dude that, not to say fuck my kids, but yeah, whatever.
And that's just parents sometimes in general. Whether you're a single mom, single dad, good mom, bad dad, I don't know. I see that all the time. The kids are always either all the way in the front or all the way in the back, or you don't even see a parent in sight. But I mean, those are just a couple of red flags that, somewhat stood out to us. Red flags that I was reading about that, people should look out for are being in a rush to get into a relationship. Like if you're trying to like, okay, I just met you last week. I like you. We're vibing. Let's get into a relationship. They may have some type of like attachment issues. How you're saying like the whole hand holding type of thing on the couch. Like I guess there's a term for it, love bombing, where it's like they need like excessive amount of love, reassurance,
yeah,
and stuff like that. Another one is jealous when you make plans. That one stood out to me because I feel like I had been in relationships where it's like, or I've heard people who are in relationships where they made plans and then their partner's like, oh, well, now I'm going to go make plans. Or that person's out and then they find out that their partner went out too. And it's like, wait, you didn't tell me you were going to, well, since you were out, you know, then I decided to go out. And it's like, was all that necessary?
Petty. I'm not gonna lie. I've done that. Like I've been in that situation where like my girl like, oh, I'm going out. Well, fuck it, you're gonna go out. I'm gonna go out too, and it's just insecurity. You're thinking all these negative stuff, and I was a lot younger, obviously not now.
Think we've all been there at some point. Maybe certain people have not been there, but it's just something for people to think about where you don't think anything of it, or because you don't want to fight, you disregard it. You're like, whatever. But there's a reason behind it. So it's like a tit for tat. You're going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm a one up you. And that's not what a relationship is. Like everybody deserves to have their alone time, their space from one another. We don't always have to do everything together.
Yeah. So you got any more?
Gaslighting. Gaslighting is a word that I never heard until maybe like a year and a half ago.
I've heard it. I've heard the term. I don't really know the full terminology.
So I don't know the full terminology, and I can't give it to you because my phone's being used. But I know that gaslighting is like when you basically say something in some type of way, and then they want to like manipulate or twist your words, and then use that against you. So,
okay.
So kind of like manipulation and gaslighting, like making, you know how like when you're being interrogated?
Yeah.
And they're basically making you believe.
Yeah, they're coercing you to believe that you did something you didn't do.
Same thing.
Okay. All right. So why do people ignore red flags?
Because they like the thought of this person. Maybe there's already love. The love word is involved. So you ignore the signs.
I would say for men, I think for a lot of men ignore red flags. If you're like a decent looking woman, a lot of men will ignore all of the signs of your toxic traits because you're attractive. And I heard someone tell me that the other day. Oh yeah, man, if she was crazy, but as long as she's by my side, like, you know, this pretty face around my arm, I'm good with it. Like, fuck that, bro. Like, I'm straight. Like, I'd rather be solo with a mannequin doll. You know, like, I'm good. But I would say, yeah, I would think for at least for men, they ignore it. If a woman is attractive, they're just like, I don't care. And I'm pretty sure. And also too, intimacy.
And then I would say that women probably do the same thing if the man is the financial provider.
Yeah.
If the man's the financial provider, they're like, well, you know what? He's the one buying me my Dior, my Chanel, my nails are done. You know, I'll tolerate it. I have a house. Like, where am I going to get this anywhere else? So it's like you also lower your standards. But I would say that's a reason why girls probably tolerate it also.
What are your red flags, Momo? What are your red flags? Yeah, I think we got a couple minutes. We got 4 minutes left. Spit it out.
I would say my red flags are, though I know how much communication is important, I don't like to feel that I'm hurting somebody's feelings. So I may not say everything that's on my mind as to why I maybe don't want to talk to you or pursue you. I've been learning that I need to pray on my words, because the words that I wanted to shout, they're very blunt. And I don't come off very nice.
Okay.
And I know sometimes I can be hurtful because I'm saying it in the midst of the moment, because I'm so passionate about whatever it is that I'm feeling. And another one would be, sometimes I feel very independent, because that's all I've known is to be independent, where it's very hard for me to allow somebody to do for me. So
like what?
I do recall, even with my last relationship, I told him, I don't need you, I want you. And I think, like, for you saying that to a man, I don't need you, like, you're going for his ego and his manlyhood, because then it's like, well, what am I here for if you don't need me? And in reality, I do need a man for many different things, like maybe my oil change, maybe, you know, my tires, maybe, you know, I want something done around the house, or, you know, I think there's many different things that men and women need each other for.
Yeah.
But it's that, like, no, I don't need nobody, I'm good because I've conquered it on my own. But it's like,
would you consider like a boss bitch mentality in a sense?
Yeah.
Okay. I would say my red flags would be not considering another person's feelings. Meaning, like, let's just what? I don't know what's that's supposed to mean. I'm being honest here. I'm putting my emotions on the line. She's sitting here clapping. That's fucked up.
Yes, preach it.
Yeah, meaning, like, let's just say, like, anniversaries, they're not really important to me, but obviously for a woman, it is important. So it's realizing that, hey, it's not about,
and it's not all women. Some guys do.
Yeah,
like,
vice versa. I mean, I'm just saying in general, it's just not really taking consideration to her feelings, or maybe something that's not a big deal to me is a big deal to her, and I'm just like, all right, like kind of like, all right, like, get over it.
Dismissive.
Yeah, dismissive. Like, all right, like, let's move on from it. And then I would say another red flag, I could be selfish, and I would say and I guess, like, another red flag for certain people is, you know, I like to drink and I like to smoke. You know, for some people that's just like, I'm cool with that. I mean, I drink more than the average person does. So for some people that could be like a red flag.
A little too much,
yeah, it's a little bit too much. But other than that, those are my red flags. I'm gonna ask you one of the final questions. What are you doing to improve your red flags?
So, like I said, as far as the as you called it, the boss bitch mentality, slowly but surely, I'm trying to let that go and allow, you know, whoever I'm with to do for me. And I'm not gonna lie, it is a really good feeling, but I don't know why I feel like then I owe them something. Like I always feel like, man, you're doing too much for me. And I don't know how to explain it, but that's just how I feel. I'm trying to work on it. I know that, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. Somebody who's doing it, I guess, because I don't know, some people do out of the kindness of their heart. Others do it with the intention of wanting something in return. So it's kind of just like, I guess I'll know when it's the right person, and I won't feel that way because I won't feel like I owe you something after that.
And honestly, men are very simple. Like, if a man's really going out his way to make you happy and just put that smile on your face, go that extra mile. And if you're gonna be like, well, what does he want in return? Now, I'm gonna maybe speak on for myself. I'm not all men, but I'd say most men just want a peaceful woman that brings them peace in general. Keeps their body tight, like keeps their figure looking good. And
so when you change my oil, I need to think of it in the back of my head. Girl, you better go get it right, get it tight.
Yeah, you better go do some squats, girl. You better go do some squats. You better put on a little Daisy Duke. I guarantee you go out there with some short shorts, man, that fool not only would change your tires, he would change your oil, he would give you a wax, and just please them in the sheets, and feed them.
So then again, I owe him something.
Yeah,
Okay.
But those are things that you guys probably already do already. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that's much. Is what I'm saying.
And the other thing that I would say that I'm working on is, like I said, I'm working on it by praying as far as like, God, lead me and give me the words to say what it is that I need to say and convey it in the way that it needs to be conveyed. That way I get my point across, because when I speak from my own emotions, it's like I'm too invested and involved, and then I'm just mad.
Okay.
So what would be something that you're doing to fix, I guess, your main two red flags?
To be honest, like, we talk about it. You have to manifest it. You have to allow the universe to know, these are my issues. These are my red flags. These are the things I want to improve on. So it's just being aware of it. Now, I'm aware of it. I wasn't aware of it before, but now, as time has progressed, it's been like somewhat of a pattern, and it's been brought to my attention multiple times. So it's like, okay, it's not them, it's me. Mm-hmm. Like they're saying this for a reason. So now I just be more thoughtful, be more thoughtful, and also it's like, get the help if you really need the help. Like if I'm really struggling with, like, maybe I can't put the booze down, whatever, then honestly it comes to a point where, like, you know what, MJ, like, maybe you need to get some assistance.
So what would you say when you say, oh, like, anniversaries, I don't know, birthdays,
whatever,
or holidays? Yeah. What do you think you can do to change that aspect?
Well, recognize it, and then take action. Set up a nice date. Set up, go that. Go.
But I'm saying the first step. To me, I would say the first step would be mark it on your calendar, or in your phone. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Because I feel like sometimes we say what we're gonna do, but it's like, I think when we're talking to an audience, like, how do you get there? Because it's like, it's something that you didn't have, so it's like, then how do you just get to that point? Like, and I think everybody's different. Like, is it like a sticky note? Is it on your phone? Is it like...
No, I mean, now I know, like, when I'm dating someone, like, bro, like, be aware of those things. Like, be aware that, like, hey, anniversary comes up, do something special for her. Surprise her for her birthday, for Valentine's Day. I was not a big Valentine's Day person. So now, like, that's the key. It's to recognize it, to acknowledge, like, hey, this is what I need to improve on, and to just not ignore it, and to take, and as far as, like, not considering people's feelings or whatever, like, listen to them, let them express themselves, even if you don't agree with it, even if you don't, like, you're over it, whatever. Just take the time, listen to them, and doesn't mean you have to agree with them, doesn't mean you got to do anything else, but just don't be submissive. Don't like, oh, okay, whatever. Let them express themselves. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty much it. So final thoughts.
My final thoughts in regards to red flags, because like we said, these all fall in a workplace, a friendship, a relationship within your family. Being able to identify is one. If something is standing out to you, sit with it. Allow yourself to sit with it and ask yourself, are they giving off signs to be a red flag? If so, the next step is, what's the course of action that you're going to take? Is this something that you are willing to invest in, like have a conversation about? Or are you the type of person that, you know what, I'm just going to dip? Either way you do it, you just have to know that we all carry red flags. So the way you approach it, just make sure that that's how you would want somebody to handle you. That's what I would say. Because again, we all have red flags. Sometimes we're just not fully aware of it. Like you said, you're now coming to the realization of yours. I'm realizing what's mine. And I'm still having a hard time, breaking out of it. But as long as you're trying to make that effort, that's all that really matters.
And I would say for myself, be a listener. When people are genuinely letting you know the things you need to improve on, take note of that. Especially if it's more than just one person. Mm-hmm. So it's just being aware, not being stubborn, and wanting to be a better person. Not only for yourself, but for that future person. Because can you imagine, if I continue to have this same attitude and not wanting to change and be stubborn, and I finally meet that good woman and I bring those same characteristics with me into this next relationship, well, I'm fucked. I'm gonna destroy something so great because me not willing to change for the better. Mm-hmm. So those are my final thoughts. So be like water, ladies and gentlemen. Be like water. When you put water in a cup, you become the cup. When you put water in the pot, you become the pot.
As I'm drinking water.
Those are Bruce Lee quotes. She doesn't get it. But anyways, all right, ladies and gentlemen. Anything else you want to share?
Nope, that is it.
Yeah, let's just be better. Let's be better. Let's improve on. Actually, I have a question to the audience. What are your guys' red flags? How genuine
are you guys willing to share?
Yes. Are you willing to share your red flags? Or what red flags have you had in the past that now you've improved on?
Or are you still living in denial?
Which one is it? We love to know.
We are here to help you.
Drop the comment. We're not here to help. We're here to listen. We're here to listen to you guys. So,
if we can help, we will help.
I don't know why she's doing that Darth Vader voice over here, but all right.
Oh, he can Bruce Lee all day, but I can't Darth Vader. Okay.
But yeah, drop a comment. We want to know. No judgment, just out of curiosity. But we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. We're gonna be seeing you guys every Friday at 8 a.m. Riding the wave. And to my boy Aid, are you dedicated? We'll see you guys next week. We love you. Peace.